Is the Army woke?
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's the fucking Pentagon and all them fucked up officers, right? 2009. In World War II, there was 12 officers, right, for like every 100 men. In 2009, it was 70 fucking 2. Think about that. Where the fuck are these 72 officers at? They're not in your company because you only got one captain. Where the fuck are, a major in an SF company and he's only got so many guys. That ain't a big lot of guys, right? Where the fuck are these officers? And that would be my fucking thing is, yeah, the ruling class of the military has always been fucking liberals. Always. And it goes back to the Civil War. And if you read pre-Civil War books, people thought as a nation we were too big to fail then also. You know what I mean? So the wokeness comes from these officers and these schools ingraining them to be woke. But the reality is the Army needs to do two things only: kill the bad guys and break their shit. The rest is fucking bullshit, in my opinion.
How do you reinstitute that culture?
Yeah, you get rid of the fucking pussies up top and you stop leveling the truth, and you start just saying it like it is. That's how it starts. A culture of honesty. You know what I mean? And look, I was a troop sergeant major in Iraq. I had 56 guys under me every night, man. I had all races, all colors, it didn't fucking matter. Do your job, pull your weight, and the guys did, normally flawlessly, but none of that shit mattered. And then look, I got to come back from fucking war to an America that's more racially divided than ever when, like, I didn't have any racial problems my whole fucking life, including my whole 20 years in the Army. It's made up problems. You know what I mean? I never had any problems like that with any of the guys, man. We did our job, you do your job, I do my job. Let's go. It doesn't matter to the guys.
Yeah.
Never mattered to me.
Yeah. Fitting that we have the national anthem playing in the background. Chase Rice back there.
Amen.
Been able to talk to a lot of the senior officers, we've had on the show. And it's funny because people ask me all the time, they say, well, you get to talk to all the senior officers. And we've really started bringing in a lot of the sergeant majors. And we've even talked to a number of the senior warrant officers to start getting their perspective. And I'll tell you that the episodes and interviews we do with the sergeant majors do better than the ones we did with the officers.
Yeah.
And what I ask a lot of the officers is, talk about the relationship with your NCOs. Talk about the importance of the NCO Corps. But I want to kind of ask you that same question is, when we talk about building a professional Army, when we look at what it takes to do the things that you're talking about and change that culture, it's going to rest on the NCOs.
Yeah. So
what do we need from that next generation of NCOs to stand up and prepare for this next fight?
Yeah, man. Every time we got new guys, I would always, one time I got the first pick of new guys. So my boss was like, hey, what guy do you want? How, and then like, am I going to pick the best shooter? Am I going to pick the fastest, the strongest, the best PT guy? Who am I going to pick? I get to pick the first one. And I said, walk him through my team room. I want the guy that says this place is dirty. And here's why. That's the fucking smart guy. He's clean. He's fucking smart. I'll train him to shoot. I can train him to free fall. I can train him to do anything. But if this guy's the smartest guy out of the fucking group, that's exactly who I want. So I'd tell any kids joining, be fucking smart. You don't have to be strong. You can learn strength. I learned strength. I wasn't prepared. I didn't even know what rip was when I was fucking ripping it. You know what I mean? Like, so my point is I would tell anybody, try to be the smartest guy in the room, because generally the smartest guy in the room is going to be the best commando.
Yeah. As you go through your evolution through your career, especially now, we talk a lot about PTSD experiences that people have.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm bringing it up at this point because we've got a large portion of the GWAT generation of operator is retiring.
Yeah.
Okay, they're either out, but I mean, it's a timeline thing.
Yeah.
More than anything else. 2001, was 23 years ago. So everyone who's hit 20s coming out, and then those few who are now sergeant majors or colonels and above are the ones who are going to advance. Everybody else is capping out and they're going to be gone. So in the next 4 or 5 years, those numbers are going to continue to degrade in terms of the GWAT generation. So you have a lot of folks coming out, and what we don't have is, because we're not in a conflict, is we don't have the military in the news every day. And what we saw through GWAT was that it was easy to run a nonprofit for veterans because you just had to say, I'm a nonprofit for veterans, we need money, and people just threw you money. Well, that dries up when you're not in the news every day. And then we have other situations around the country in terms of economic policy and all that have obviously changed some winds. But now, almost more than ever, we have this large percentage of folks who have all sorts of physical and mental ailments who are now coming into the veteran community. Number one, how do we handle that? And number two, what's your perspective on this conversation around PTSD, and how do we actually go about treating it?
First off, I don't think it's a veteran thing. I think it's a human condition. You're fucking 5 years old. Your family gets run over by a train in front of you. Tell me that's not PTSD, right? So I think PTSD is a human condition in general. I don't think it's exclusive to soldiers. So I personally do not believe in PTSD. I don't believe in the symptoms, and I believe PTSD is you get stuck in the same chapter in your book, and no book has one chapter. Right. And there's fucking shit that's going to happen in your life that could be great. We don't even know it yet. But unless we turn that page, we're not going to get there. I believe in TBI. I believe in a lot of other stuff. But I think PTSD is one of those things that, like, there's a lot of stuff to overcome. Right. And I've had every symptom. I've been driving home, be forgetful, cognitive function. Right. Eat some fucking avocados. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you is, I thought I had PTSD, and then over time, diet, exercise, I turned out that I had several other problems that I had to fix first, right? And then when I talk to guys that, my buddies who, are feeling the PTSD crunch from time to time, right? That's normal for guys. My first question's always, you're angry every day. Oh, I get it, right? Yeah. How many bottles of booze did you drink last night? 2? Cut it down to 1 tonight. I'm not going to tell you not to drink. I wouldn't do that. I love the booze. However, what I would tell you is, don't drink 2 fucking bottles. You're hungover. That's why you're an asshole every day. You're hungover. So a lot of times guys will try to fix it, not knowing what's going on, and they make it worse for themselves, right? And I would tell everybody, man, look, cognitive functions, your brain, like if you're in the fog, this is brain shit. You can go in oxygen chambers. I do it all the time. Avocados, MCT oils, there's tons of ways to fix cognitive function. And what I'm telling you is, you start breaking this stuff down, you'll see that this is a little bit fixable, more so than the last chapter where, like, my buddies are just like, woe is me, and I'll have to go over there and smack them in the face. No, let's go. Like, let's keep going, right? So I'm not a big, look, I'm not going to coddle anybody. I'm going to fucking shoot it to you straight. But at the same time, like, I think PTSD is curable. I think it's something where you just learn strategies of how to cope with what happens, right? Look, a lot of soldiers lack cognitive functions because of fucking several reasons. Horrible diet, right? Look, electrolytes, you could be severely dehydrated. Most of what I find is food and diet would fix a lot of this for guys, but you can't get them to do that until they understand that that would actually work for them. And I think people don't say that because the VA, just like me, they just want you to take your fucking Percocets. Yeah. Take your fucking Oxycontins. What did they give me? Fucking Dilaudids. They give me Dilaudids. That's what I get. And I'm just like, after a couple years of getting fat, of fucking taking all these pills, I'm like, I'm done with these fucking pills. I'm done with being broke. I'm done with being told I'm fucking broke. And I'm figuring this shit out. And here I am. So if anybody, takes it hard that I don't believe in PTSD, I cured myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, You can cure yourself too. Anybody can. And really, it's just about turning the page, man. I didn't think I'd be here at 50. Yeah, me neither. Fucking welcome to the club, buddy. We're all going to die. Don't let it ruin your day. Can we move on, And let's have a good time, by the way, if we can, I think people lose those simple kind of insights, right? So I'm not a big PTSD guy. I do believe I've had it. The VA says I have 0 of it, technically. But the reality is I think most guys, it's several different little things that they can start to chip away at to start getting better right fucking now. You know what I mean?